Okay. Hello, I want to welcome everyone to our Lush Lawn Pro Podcast. This is our 9th episode. I'm Aaron Samson, CEO of Lush Lawn, and this is...
Ken Jesso, COO of Lush Lawn.
Yeah, so we have our special guest here, Jenna from Dynamic Marketing, and why don't you go ahead and get us started here, Ken?
Yeah, thanks for hopping on board here, Jenna. Excited to have you today.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I look forward to this conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought we'd jump right in, kind of a little bit. We'll just get right to it, to your background on your professional side and kind of how you got into marketing.
Sure. Well, I mean, it all started, I knew for a long time before entering college, I wanted to pursue some marketing career. Just caught my interest. So went to college as such, and like any collegiate student would do, did a couple internships. Found myself at two separate marketing agencies. And the latter, I ended up really taking on a project manager role for several of that agency's clientele. And from there, I found myself working one-on-one with a lawn care company here in the Northeast. And from there, everything has spiraled in a good direction.
Very cool. Was that kind of just happened to work out, or did you have an interest in the lawn care industry, or did marketing pull you into the lawn care industry?
I would definitely say marketing pulled me into the lawn care industry, and never would I have thought I would have known so much about grass types and soil and everything that goes into, caring for a lawn. But it has been nothing but a positive experience, and the industry has given back to me as much as I hope to give to it. And so I've learned quite a bit over the past 15 years in this space and in this specific industry.
So 15 years in the lawn care space, Jenna. But what was your first marketing job?
My first marketing job was with Lawn Dog, a familiar name to peers in the industry, working for Jim Campanella. And he brought me in as a marketing manager to oversee everything that the brand touched, and then strategically put together an annual marketing campaign in order to help grow the business from an organic standpoint. And so it was, again, a great learning experience for somebody who had been so well versed in the industry, had so much knowledge to offer, and let me have the reins to really take control and bring it bigger than it was and grow it far more residential customers than we had started with at that time.
Very cool. So yeah, so Jim obviously having a ton of industry experience and knowledge. What was that dynamic like? You're just learning the lawn care industry. You have someone that's a seasoned vet. What was your guys' working relationship like there early on?
Well, he threw me to the wolves right away. I think my first week I had to complete a marketing analysis for what took place that spring and then present it to all of his managers at the time, which there were 5 branch managers when I first started. And talk about intimidation, right? I just walked into a room, had all these gentlemen staring at me, wondering what I was here for. And so, it was a great way to start things off. Everybody gained confidence thereafter, as did I, once we built that trust. But Jim was always a very motivating type manager. He was not controlling in any way, shape, or form. He allowed me to really expand upon my skill set, right? And be creative in the marketing space, be analytical with the data. And he would guide some of the decision making from a budgeting standpoint. Again, I was new to the business, but he really was big on bringing someone in with the skills that, I wouldn't say he lacked, but the skills that would really press forward and level the company up another notch. So he gave me, again, the free rein to really explore all things marketing.
So when you were talking about being thrown to the wolves, you were actually referring to the branch managers, it sounds like. Is that
Maybe.
correct to assume?
Maybe. They were great guys, though. Everybody there was wonderful to work with.
Yeah, so you start off, you're with one company there, and now you're consulting, working with many different companies. And you said something there about yourself being analytical. And I know with working with different marketing directors, usually they have the really strong on the analytics side or really strong on the creative side. Do you find that as well, working with many different marketing people, or is there a lot that encompass both? What do you generally see?
Yeah, so after my time with Lawn Dog, I found myself in a position where our company was purchased. And so I had to make a decision, what I was going to do with my career. And I did work remotely for another lawn care company for a short, brief moment before going on this consulting journey that I've been on. And now consulting, it's been a fantastic role where I find myself being able to share my knowledge that I've learned over the years, my hands-on experience, historical strengths or weaknesses of different campaigns. So bringing that to others and sharing what I can to help all these different businesses grow. I love the position as a consultant now, and working with several brands and several clients of my own. But yes, I do find, there's got to be a balance. You have to be able to look at the data and really analyze the data, understand what that data is telling you, because that will guide what you're going to do with your marketing campaign, and it will guide your strategies. So it does go hand in hand, and finding that right mix of an individual to have both. I definitely see that, here and there with different clients of mine. Sometimes they're smaller clientele where they have an agency that they work with directly, not necessarily a full-time marketing manager in-house. So we make it work. We that's why people pull me in, is kind of to balance that out and really help set the tone.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we've worked with Jenna at times, off and on over the last 10 years in the role of marketing consultant. And while I have you on here, I'll thank you for the work you've done with us, and it's been very helpful, for us here at Lush Lawn. But anyways, why don't you carry on with the next one there?
Yeah, and so in different capacities, right? You spoke to it right there about some companies you're working with outside agencies, some have internal marketing directors in place. So that probably carries a different structure to what you're doing, right? As far as what you're giving and what feedback you're providing, maybe you're actually producing the content for a lot of it. How do you balance the freedom in some of that, and then I'm sure others you're working with are more rigid and set to specific guidelines. Which ones do you, I guess, really tend to lean more to, enjoy more, or not?
I mean, I never shy away from a challenge, so I find it really fun to work with at both capacities, right? Where I see the benefit, and I'll call myself a fragmented marketing manager essentially, because I do work with smaller end revenue clients for the most part. I would say Lush is probably one of my biggest clients at this time. And so I do find, when it comes to working directly with an agency, it's really guiding them on the industry and how the seasonality of the businesses in different parts of the country might work. Really building their repertoire of what customers or prospects are looking for in their phrasing and terminology that kind of helps bridge the gap with the industry. Oftentimes agencies do not have the lawn care pest control knowledge that I might bring to the table. So it's, like I said, bridging that gap. When it is an internal marketing manager, bringing them up to speed similarly. But really my intent there is giving them all the knowledge that I can over the course of my time working with them, in order so that they have the confidence to take this forward, because they're the ones that are full-time at said company, and it's up to them. It's their baby at this point to now carry on and really do what they wish with it. And you can't be afraid in marketing to test and try new things, because it's always evolving.
Yeah, so for lawn care operators that are watching this podcast, how would you define a marketing role for their organization, for that lawn care operator that's thinking about bringing marketing on board, for their organization? How would you define that?
That's a great question, and I get that question often, because there are instances where companies might feel they need a social media manager. They need a direct mail person. They need somebody just to manage the campaign budgeting, right? You could ideally, especially at this, size of companies, you could find the right individual who carries a lot of those skill sets, including maybe they are good with content and design. That helps, right? So you don't necessarily have to find a third party vendor to do that. But it is a variety of skill sets. I would say primarily being organized is going to be one of my top, um, skill sets that I would look for in somebody hiring for this position. You're going to be managing multiple projects over a short period of time and have things thrown your way that need to get taken care of on your priority list, and it might shift things around. So being able to manage your projects and really take care of that time frame and prioritize your list of work to get done. Missing deadlines isn't ideal, right? So communication with other department heads, so vital, because traditionally marketing and sales might butt heads, but really that shouldn't be the case. You guys should work in sync and hand in hand with one another. Everything marketing pushes out, sales should know about. So communication, um, project management, timely organization, and then boiling it down to the day-to-day task work. Do they have creative skills, an eye for design? Are they attention to detail, whether it be on their website or on a direct mail or promotional flyer? And then the last in my list here would be the industry stuff. I think anybody can learn the industry side of the business if they bring all the marketing skill sets to the table.
Nice. Yeah, we'll probably transition into that a little bit on the industry side of things. Are homeowners finding lawn care companies differently now than they did, say, a few years ago?
Yes, and this is a hot topic right now of conversation with myself and all my clients and even peers that I don't work with. But certainly you, myself, or anybody listening to this podcast has jumped on Google and done a quick search for some sort of, whether it be household product, good item, you name it, right? And we've traditionally seen the search rankings pull up where you have your blue hyperlinks all the way down the page. You have a map listing, so on and so forth. But now with the introduction of AI, what we're seeing is people are getting answers to their questions prior to even scrolling down that page to find the business. AI is definitely shifting the game and how users are finding businesses or finding products. Google and all the platforms right now are putting more intention behind their Google business profiles. And consumers are receiving information without having to actually click on sites. So we are being challenged in all new ways.
Yeah, definitely are. On that too, with the AEO, can you explain just to the viewers exactly kind of what that is and how it's you spoke to it already a bit, but how it's impacting marketing?
Yes, so AEO is Answer Engine Optimization. And just to preface that, we are typically, as a marketer, used to SEO, search engine optimization. And when it comes to answer engine optimization, it's going to be most important for businesses to start answering content on their website in a very answer question or question answer manner, and making sure you're clear, you're concise, and you're sharing that knowledge directly to the end user, which will be anybody visiting your site. But at this point in time, what has made the switch here is normally SEO would pull up search rankings for keywords that businesses might be focusing on in their strategy. But now AEO is pulling up for the AIs and the language learning models to pull into play. So now you're putting content on your site for Perplexity, for Chat, for the other Gemini, all of those LLMs to pick up. Again, you're trying to write concisely and very descriptively for the bots to find you, because that's what's going to display now, where SEO is coming further down the page if that's the only focus.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd like to just shift gears a little bit here and talk about. There's the old adage, right? A business exists for its customers. Okay, and so certainly we want to acquire customers, but what are some of the things that you would recommend people do, LCOs that are watching this, that they could do to build customer loyalty?
Customer loyalty is such an important element to marketing, and often one that gets put on the back burner, right? It is so much easier to retain your business than it is to go out and find one, let alone cost effective as well, right? So, in order to build loyalty, first, it's different touches throughout the year. Giving your, again, communication, I made mention of that as far as hiring a marketing manager in-house, very important skill set. But same goes for a business to their customers, is making sure you're communicating properly. Whether that's just communication after a treatment, communication throughout the season proactively. I love to address issues that might be on the horizon. So we're getting ahead of it, letting customers know exactly what they can expect or what to do from certain situations out on the lawns, for example. Loyalty programs are often a great way to retain business from your clients. If you have a loyalty program or a rewards program, that's great. Referral programs, another way to reward customers for their loyalty to the company. And then, of course, it comes down to doing a good job out there, and making sure everything is done for the customer at the end of the day, that their expectations are met. That way they turn around and they'll go write, a good review, or again, they'll send a referral your way. So I also like to implement some like contests on social media. Great way to give them a spin up on, hey, show off your lawn, show off what you're proud of, right? And you will do a photo contest and we'll give away some prizes. Another one would be making sure you're in the community, whether that's a community town event, a neighborhood event, but making your presence be in the community. It doesn't have to necessarily be a home show, but sponsoring a little league ball field, making sure that you're giving back as well.
Yeah.
All of those things can really help drive home the customer loyalty.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. We try to do, the things that you mentioned, a lot of those things. And sometimes people don't realize how expensive it is to acquire a new customer. For us, sometimes it's between $100 and $200 per customer that acquisition cost. And so retaining the existing customers, it's very important part of the business.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I think we do really well with, Aaron, is generating reviews though, and getting that out there. And can you speak to how that impacts the lawn care customer base, Jenna?
Yes, reviews. And I think I touched on this earlier, but Google Business Profile has really pushed forward in what their expectation is, especially when it comes to reviews, and they go a long way. And there are third-party applications that every customer can add to their website or add into their back end of their operational system, and generate reviews. And what Google is doing specifically is looking at the frequency and the new and relevancy, the timing and relevancy of the reviews. They want to see that you are consistently pulling in customer reviews, as that will perk up your business profile in their eyes and really, help them show off when they are putting their listings out. And what I want to say about customer reviews is there's a number of different ways you can generate them, but making sure that you're responding to them is just as important. And when you can respond where it makes sense to respond, include keywords or keyword phrases of your services in those replies. Again, all little tidbits to help boost up your presence digitally.
That's really interesting. I'm writing that down as a note. Use keywords in your response to reviews. That's pretty neat. I
It's
wasn't aware of that.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be great to have customers, use those keywords, but realistically, we can't
Yeah.
ask them to go out and say, "Hey, please use this phrase
Yeah.
in your review on Google." That just is awkward. So we can reply and use keywords
Huh.
as needed.
Okay. That's great advice. Yeah, that's something that is new to us for sure. So talking about social media a little bit, moving on to social media, and then its impact in marketing and what we do. What are some of the mistakes you see other companies making on social media?
Social media has been, just ever since it came out, one of those cans of worms that everybody's trying to figure out, right? And I would say it's certainly important to have a presence on social media, especially from an ad standpoint. But what it comes down to is you can't set it and forget it. It has to be an evolution of your ads over time and in a short window. Social media, you'll have an ad that wins on social media, but it only wins for a couple weeks. You got to be able to, rotate in some fresh, new, creative stuff that works well on social is going to be your authenticity showing through your advertising, right? And whether that comes down to owner on camera, videos to build trust, to provide education, or some before and after pictures of your actual lawns and the work that you're putting out in place. Um, let's face it, people aren't going to social to search and buy lawn care. They're going to social to be entertained, to check what's on their news feed, to see what everybody's up to around their circle, their space of friends and family. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind. You have to be willing to step outside the box, maybe get a little uncomfortable, and put some, content or copy together that's really going to trigger somebody.
Yeah, so we're getting into the nerdier segment of our questions here, a little more nuanced, and with regards to companies' email marketing, what are some of the key tips that you would give to companies to make sure they get with their emails to customers in order for those to be effective?
One thing about email is I would suggest that email is definitely more of the nurture segment. So it does work well when it comes to the customer base if used right. I like to, one of the priorities with my clients is making sure that we're not sending every email asking for something to be purchased. We're not continuously going to the well, say buy, buy, buy. We're going to give them, again, I touched on this a little bit, but proactive information. What can be out there on the lawn, and making sure our email communications are, give, ask. That's kind of my rule of thumb is we're giving on one email in this direction. We're giving more information on our second email. Then the third email that we're going to send out is going to be asking for a sale. Maybe it's an upsell, but at some point in time, we got to make sure that we're not continuously just asking each and every email for the sale. We want to be the wealth of knowledge, provide that information, be the go-to when they have an issue, they're coming to us. So that's generally my rule of thumb. And if you're using it from a nurture standpoint, with prospects, similarly, you want to pull them down the funnel. Give them a little nugget today, maybe a couple days down the road, another piece of information. Maybe it is a video clip. You're continuing to build that authenticity and that trust. And then you're pulling them down that sales funnel. Finally, you're getting ready to ask for the sale, maybe on that fifth or sixth in the automation sequence of your emails, and you're really firing off. And then, okay, you've done your due diligence. They're ready to buy now.
Yeah, I remember having a consulting meeting with you by phone one time, and I remember you telling me give, ask," and it was a very memorable phrase and very effective too, in conditioning your customers to not think that every point of contact is a sales call, is a sales message, is a sales email. And we have found that very effective for our own marketing. I just wanted to just say that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to remember, and it is impactful. Give, ask. Right?
Give, ask. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're looking through emails as well, what are some key metrics that you pay attention to, Jenna?
Well, primarily open rate. If you're not getting opens, nobody's seeing what's inside. So, number one would be taking a look at open rate and making sure that you're willing again to test or try different subject lines. That will really help go a long way when it comes to your open rates, finding what works. Um, Secondarily, I would say if you are putting a call to action in your emails, then it's looking at your click rate and if your call to action is strong. So you're driving, if it is an upsell, you're driving people to take action or make that sale, right? And then the third item would be if it is informative. Generally, what I like to do is put a read more link. Give them a little, again, a little nugget, knowledge nugget at the beginning, put a read more link and see if they click on it. And if you have a couple subjects in your email and you're using this type of strategy, you can identify what's resonating with your readers and what are they actually wanting to learn more about. If they're ignoring that first article, but they're coming down to the third one and it's really a topic of interest, you'll have a better understanding of that and you can use that for your future content.
So for our viewers here, what would you consider a good open rate? And then what would you consider a good click-through rate?
A good open rate when it comes to email marketing, as far as what I've seen in our industry, is going to be between 40 and 45 and 55% on your emails. That has, if you're lower than that, well, we got to try and test some other subject lines. Okay. If you're higher than that, you're probably knocking it out of the park. Your readers are engaged. You have a good hold on what they're going to do, your timing, and everything is correct. But lower than that, maybe we need to make some adjustments, refine our frequency, or like I said, test those subject lines. As far as click-through rate, again, specifically, if it was for an upsell campaign, we're probably wanting a click-through rate upwards of 60%. We want to make sure those that are opening are taking action on whatever it is that we're asking them to do. Now, the one caveat to this I would suggest to you is when it comes to surveys, when we're trying to get customer feedback and do a customer survey, we're hoping for a much higher open rate, upwards of 80%. We really want to make sure we're getting a good pool of people asking or responding to our survey. And generally surveys and via emails, if anybody out there is doing them, this does work very well if you are trying to poll your customers on certain questions.
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned it a couple times, the subject lines. Are there any, I know it's a very broad question, but is there a quick piece of advice you can give someone that does improve that open rate? Is this something that like attention grabbing is using certain characters? Is there something you see that really helps improve that open rate?
Well, traditionally, all caps is yelling, and I think everybody has used any sort of internet in their time knows that, right? So it's avoiding the typical marketing lingo. Matter of fact, it's, you don't want to say, hey, free this, right? You might wind up in somebody's spam box. It sounds kind of opposite of what we're discussing, but you want to keep your subject lines. Questions work well in subject lines if you're, asking a question within the subject line. But think of how we interact with our emails day to day and just keeping it pretty conversational tone when it comes to your subject lines, but nothing over the top. Free inside or the exclusive offer, that right there immediately is going to hit a spam box or someone will hit the delete button.
Yeah, it's a great point, the all caps thing. Aaron sent me some in all caps before, and I just mark as read. You don't even open it, right?
Avoid.
All right. So Jenna, how do you run a successful meta ad campaign, and what content do you think works best in the lawn care industry?
It's a great question. So let's start with the content, right? I think I mentioned being authentic, having educational videos, and you can use these elements in several areas of your marketing, but on Meta specifically, before and after photos work really well. Customer testimonials, another option, really, or behind the scenes technician videos, getting your techs involved. All of this builds that trust and authenticity I was describing earlier. So when it comes to the campaign itself, what you want to make sure is that you have a clear goal. Define your goal. Are you trying to drive website visitors? Are you trying to drive new leads and prospective leads? Making sure those videos are compelling enough for them to take action on it. Having a call to action within your ad, very important. Being clear and simple. Don't confuse people. Again, entertaining can go a long way on Meta or social in general, because Meta, leading to Facebook and both Instagram, people go to scroll, and you want to be eye-catching or entertaining with what you're putting out there. And then testing. I can't go without repeating that comment, is making sure that you're testing. If you have a couple test ads and one is driving better than another, then add some more test ads and add new content in there to continuously test and see which one is working. At the end of the day, it's really important to make sure that we're constantly, it's not a set it and forget it. I'll just repeat that. It's constantly making sure you're being creative, putting something new out there that's really going to attract people.
Yeah.
So you talked about test ads quite a bit, and I'm really not hearing that from a lot of other people in the marketing space, but it's very interesting, and it sounds like it's very helpful, very successful in driving good content and getting good ROI. How would somebody go about running a test ad? Like, what is maybe if you could summarize like the best practice with that?
Sure. I mean, in Meta, you're able to set up different ad groups, right? So you could certainly distinguish one group from another and separate your budget accordingly and put some money behind your test ads, but throw 3 to 5 different creatives into that mix, and test which ones are working, because you'll see the numbers, you'll see the data pulling in if you're following up on your Meta ads, and you'll be able to determine, well, how many clicks and whatnot are coming through ad A versus ad B. A/B testing is not new in the marketing space. We should A/B test almost everything. You can A/B test audiences. You can A/B test creative. You could do subject lines in any email blasts that you choose to send out and really designate which ones are working. So A/B testing isn't a new concept in the marketing space, just a matter of somebody being able and willing to put it together.
Okay, I would like to. So every once in a while, when we're doing these podcasts, I have maybe I come up with a quirky question. But what is the funniest thing you've come across in marketing?
Funniest. Oh gosh. I don't know if I have an answer to that. The funniest thing. Um, it's probably gotta be when, sometimes you see these animated animals of some sort, and all of a sudden the animal has now got a human's voice, and it sticks, man. But that's gonna be the weirdest. It's not cartoon like, it just, something catches you off guard when it comes to, pulling in this animal that now speaks as a human, has a human name, and it's not what you expect.
There's a dancing pig out right now that I keep seeing everywhere, so
Yeah.
I think I get what you're saying. Yeah. I did have a question there. Maybe you could give a little piece of advice to the listeners, because just the other day I was looking through a different company's social medias, and they really were just carrying over the same content from like Facebook to Instagram. The reels were the same. They were looking the exact same on both sites. Is that something you should do, or is there a piece of advice of how to handle, let's say, just those two, Facebook and Instagram, differently?
I don't think it has to be specific to each platform in that regard, especially when it comes down to reels, because you do have different viewers in each of those platforms, right?
Yep.
Demographically, Facebook is going to be an older demographic. TikTok, Instagram is going to be slightly younger. So I think you're capturing different audiences with that same content, and I think that's okay to do. Now, when it comes to sharing, let's say, a blog article, it's much harder to hyperlink. Actually, Instagram doesn't even allow it. versus where it might be better fit to share that on your Google business profile and your Facebook page. But reels and videos go a long way, and they're definitely a priority when it comes to your social media accounts. So where you can share, I don't think it hurts to share the same content all the time on those different platforms.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. What's one thing that you think a lawn care owner should stop doing right now with marketing? Is there something out there right now you keep seeing over and over and you're like, would you please just stop doing this?
Let's see. I think, oh, that's a tough one. Could be a couple different things, but I guess what comes right off to mind is expecting results immediately. Marketing is a longer play with several of the different strategies that we put out there. Now, there are campaigns and avenues where you can put direct mail, for example, or your paid ads, right? You're expecting initial results pretty quickly, but over the long term, it all builds up together. It has that snowball effect. So it's not just a quick run and gun all the time in marketing. I also think it's important to make sure that we're understanding it's an investment. Marketing is an investment. And business owners should understand that and realize that. And when you do consider it as, an investment, you'll grow consistently year over year. It's not just when things are slow that you need marketing. It's over time.
That's a great statement that it's an investment. Marketing is an investment. So that really leads to this question. As a percentage of revenue, what range would you say people should consider when they're investing in marketing?
Oh, I love this question. And my go-to answer is 8%, but let me explain that 8%. 8% of your revenue should become your marketing budget. When it comes to that 8%, though, I think if you're more of an established company, I think you could probably be somewhere between 5 and 8. So you're under that number. If you're looking for significant growth, or extending into a new market, your marketing budget should be 8 to 12% of that revenue. You should expect higher. This year alone, what we're seeing across the board, everybody I've worked with, everybody I've spoken to that are just peers. A quick example is your paid advertising. The clicks have gone up. The cost per click has gone up across the board. And this doesn't even, not just our industry either. So you gotta, to make money, you got to spend money. And I do think you have to have a significant budget to make sure that you're able to implement the strategies you want to.
All right. What is the best marketing We're kind of going to some little rapid fires here. The best marketing campaign you've ever seen?
That I've ever seen. I will have to give this one, two companies that nail it are actually three. You got Apple, you got GoPro, and Nike. These three just nail marketing. If you think of any of their campaigns or what they've done, they do it by creating an experience. At the end of the day, all of their marketing builds an experience for their end user. And GoPro did it by, sending out their cameras to, the X Games guys and letting them do their thing and just following along with it. Nike is just consistent across the board, building that experience. What is their slogan? Just do it, right? Just do it. And then Apple, they've incredible marketing. All of their products, right? Create that experience, whether it's their watches, their Mac computers, you name it, their iPad, they just nail it. So I think I got to give it to those three companies for sure.
Yeah, so this is not product placement, not being paid for this, but I've got a Starbucks cup right here. I think they're also pretty good at it, right, Jenna? I think they're okay at marketing too. But that's
pretty good,
really
yeah.
good. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us. So on the other end of it, what's the biggest marketing flop that you've seen or experienced?
I could tell you one that I've personally experienced. It's kind of fun, but it was a flop at the end of the day. And we were expanding on our pest control division, and I had what I thought was an awesome idea. You guys are familiar with X-rays. And when they hold it up to the light, you see the imaging of whatever bone that they x-rayed. Well, I was like, let's do something creative and do an x-ray of somebody's lawn and say we saw these pests in your lawn.
Oh,
So we found this vendor to be able to do that and pull that off with, it looked like it, like an x-ray mailer. We sent it out, and I can't tell you the number of people that called and complained why we took x-ray machinery out on their lawns, and they truly thought that we literally wheeled out an
uh,
x-ray machine, and they were very upset about it. It was a flop. It didn't work. I thought it was so clever, but you know, even
that's a
I've
good
had failures, and we learn from those, right?
one.
When you start off the story, and I'm like, that is kind of a cool idea. That'd be kind of neat to see. And then, yeah.
That's the funniest marketing story I've heard in
Yeah.
lawn care. That's really good. That's really.
What,
Man.
Yeah. Well,
what about, Jenna, what about one marketing myth you wish would disappear?
oh, a marketing myth I wish would disappear. Let's see. That I would say, I don't think, maybe this is a personal opinion too. Um, there's a lot of concern that AI is going to take over marketing. There's a lot of concern that AI is going to take over a lot of things. But I would sit here and argue that's not going to be the case. I think AI will enhance a marketer's position and their ability to take on repetitive tasks and get repetitive tasks done in a more efficient way. But at the end of the day, I think, and I, again, it comes with, there's some creative to it too, but if you want to continuously build that authenticity, I think there's still going to be a need for somebody to be the conductor of the marketing space and still take that brand and lead it forward.
So you see AI as more of like a an assistant role or something along those lines, a supporting role, I guess, instead of a leading role
A
in
supporting
marketing.
role is the perfect way to put it.
Supporting role. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely supporting role. I don't think it's going, I think it's going to help. Again, I think it's going to speed things up uh, much more from a content creation, but you really have to drive home. I mean, think about, I don't know if you guys experience this, but lately I keep continuing on my own Facebook. I'll scroll through and I'll see these AI generated graphics, and they all look the same. And I just want to go over there and be like, hey, let's have some, uniqueness here. Like everybody's using the same style, and it's so noticeable that consumers notice that too, right?
Yeah.
It's not
That's a good point.
just, it's for the birds at this point. We need to use it in the best way possible to make sure that we're still being tried and true to the brand, and not just falling into that or pigeonholing ourselves into that everybody looks the same. We already have to differentiate one lawn company from another. It's as tough as it can be. So we don't need AI's help with that. We need to still use it in a respective manner that we can still push the brand forward in our own messaging.
All right, this is my last one of the rapid fire ones here. But could you give the listeners your favorite business book or podcast? And I'll let you off the hook. You don't have to say Lush Lawn Pro Podcast. So we'll let you off the hook on that one.
Oh, I was going to.
Well, after this episode, you may want to.
I have listened to almost every episode thus far. I'll go with a book. Actually, I'll go with an author because he's put out a few books that I appreciate or recommend. Marcus Sheridan, mostly known for They Ask You Answer, but he has a number of books that he has written that I think are valuable, and that's who I would pick.
Yeah. This is a terrible admission, but I'll say it because you said it. Someone recommended that book to me before. I purchased the book and I have not read it yet. So I'm going to put that on my to-do list in the very near future. They Ask You Answer. It's sitting in my house on the shelf and I have not read it yet. So
Oh
I'll
yeah,
definitely do that.
yes, you have to. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a very simple. I mean, it's not a hard read. It's a pretty quick read. But it has a lot of good business acumen and advice in it for that's not over the top. It's something you guys could apply, or anybody can really apply in their businesses sooner than later. So I think it's fantastic. A lot of content driven strategies in it. So definitely take that off the shelf, dust it off, give it a read.
Awesome, will do.
Okay, Jenna, this is the final question here. Where do you think lawn care marketing will be in 5 years?
With the rapid increase of AI, it would be tough to say, but I do think within 5 years, I foresee us being in a position where AI advertising is going to be one of the strategies we begin to implement. I don't think we're at a point now, today, tomorrow, even next year, where the ads are going to be relevant to our prospects. But 5 years from now, probably going to be pretty close to that. I do think the generation of TikTokers is going to be one we can no longer ignore. And maybe you're not ignoring it. Maybe you're already in the TikTok space, testing, trying videos there, but it's still right now, demographic wise, a younger generation, although there is a TikTok shop and people purchase off there. So I think that's evolving quickly as well. So I do think in the near future, when Facebook first came out, that's going to be one of the new ones to get on board with. And I do really think that it's going to be the businesses that really win are going to be the ones that maintain that authenticity. I've said it multiple times throughout our conversation today. People are going to see right through the bots, and consumers are going to see right through the bots. So making sure we're keeping true to ourselves and being authentic, because everything's moving in a direction that is digitized, computerized, robotic in some fashion. So that's, for what it's worth, my predictions.
Okay. Well, we both want to thank you, Jenna, for being on this podcast with us. Very, very good information, very entertaining as well. How would people get in contact with you on your social media? What are some of your social media handles, or maybe by email?
Sure. My email is jenna@dynamicvisionconsulting.com. You can find me on Facebook at Jenna Richardson. I am part of some of the lawn care Facebook groups in there too. So if you search my name on any of the lawn care groups, but I'll say one more time, Jenna@dynamicvisionconsulting.com.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks again, Jenna. We really appreciate it. And so long.
Thanks for having me, guys.